here now.
What's up YouTube? It's me, JB, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make a delicious side dish. Today we're making roasted red potatoes with a creamy herb dipping sauce. Now today what you're going to need some red potatoes, rosemary, some salt, and pepper. That's going to help us flavor our potatoes. Thyme, around 4 ounces of mayonnaise, and right here I have 2 habaneros and around 5 garlic cloves. If you don't want it really spicy, you could simply just take out the habaneros or put a half of one. It'll be more than enough. But I like spicy, so that's what we're gonna do. This extra virgin olive oil right here is to help our potatoes cook in the oven. A cutting board to cut our potatoes. It's gonna have a bowl to toss our potatoes in, and also to keep them in water from them oxidizing and changing colors. And then we also have a roasting pan here to roast our potatoes in. This right here is my handy dandy samurai sword, my Miami birchwood that I would use to cut the potatoes. So let's get cooking. The first thing we do before we touch any food in the kitchen is wash our hands. You want to make sure you get all of the germs off of your hands. Because the last thing I want to do in my kitchen is get somebody sick. I don't know about you. If you like sick people yelling at you, go ahead. Now, before we roast our potatoes, I have rinsed them off because they're obviously grown on the ground. So when they come up from the ground, they have all that dirt and you can see roots sprouting out of them. So I washed them, I make sure they're nice and clean. Now we're gonna cut these potatoes. When we cut the potatoes, we're gonna put them in a bowl of water just so they don't turn black or brown, because once they turn black or brown, they have a pretty bad taste when you cook them. Okay, so let's get cutting. Right now I'm gonna be cutting the potato into wedges. This way you can eat them almost like French fries when you dip them into the dipping sauce. Okay, so basically you cut them in half, and then we're gonna cut them in half again. And you have almost like apple wedges that you get from McDonald's. Okay. So you want to make sure when you're cutting, if you get anything like this, you don't want to use that, because obviously nobody wants to eat black potatoes with black spots. And when you're cutting with a knife, you want to also make sure you protect your fingers. You always want to use a claw to stop the knife from cutting your finger. Okay, so these potatoes right here are going in the trash. We're not using those. Okay, so as you can see, use the claw, potatoes in half again, and we're trying to get the wedges, so I'm gonna cut them again. This one again. Okay, now that I have my red potatoes all cut up, I pour the excess water off. Now it's just simply the potatoes, and now we're gonna season our potatoes. So first of all, we're gonna use our extra virgin olive oil. Make sure you give it a generous amount. It's a lot of potatoes in here. We want the potatoes to fully cook. Now once you've added the extra virgin olive oil, we're gonna add some salt. We're gonna make sure we mix those up nicely. Some salt, some black pepper. Okay, and I'm just gonna old-fashioned style, get in here with my hands. I'm gonna mix all these potatoes up. This is about maybe 3 tablespoons of salt and a tablespoon of black pepper. Remember, once these are done, you can always sprinkle a little extra salt on top if you feel like it's not a lot of salt on there. So now that I've mixed all of this up, I'm gonna go ahead and transfer it to my baking dish. Pour those potatoes in there. I'm gonna even them out so they're nice and flat onto the baking surface. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little extra olive oil over the top, just a little bit, okay? So they get a nice color and they cook evenly. And now they're ready to be put in the oven. Now that we seasoned our red potatoes with olive oil, salt, and black pepper, you wanna make sure your oven is preheated to 450 degrees, and we're gonna cook our potatoes for around 20 to 25 minutes. Now that our potatoes are roasting in the oven, now we're gonna get started on our dipping sauce. So first things first, we're gonna get our garlic and our habaneros, and we're gonna chop those up into tiny pieces so we can add to our mayonnaise. Now remember the cutting technique, you wanna protect your fingers at all times. So it's gonna chop the garlic. a piece. This is around 5 cloves. You can add more garlic if you would like. It's completely up to you. As you can see, I'm keeping the little pieces to the edge. You don't want to chew that part. Okay, continue to chop. Okay, and this one. Got a little piece that got away there. Okay, we're gonna put that to the side. And then we're gonna chop this up into small pieces because you don't want to take really big bites of the garlic. Or even if you do, you could make bigger cuts. I personally just like to taste the flavor of the garlic. I don't really want to bite into the garlic as much. Okay, so this right here should be good. A small dice. Okay, clear the knife. Now we're gonna add this to our mayo. Just drop it on in there. Clean off the knife. And put these little pieces to the side over here. Now we're gonna cut our peppers. Now, I like it spicy, that's why I'm using 2 habaneros. If you don't like it spicy, you can use one, you can use half. You can completely take it out, it's up to you. You can replace it with another pepper that's not as spicy. I'm cutting it with the seeds because I really want that heat to come through in my dipping sauce. Now remember, when you cut peppers, you do not, I repeat, you do not want to touch your eyes, your face, your nose, your ears, unless you want to burn them off. Okay, so next we're gonna add this to our mayo. As you can see, a little small dice. Next thing we're gonna cut, we're gonna chop up our rosemary. Now rosemary is a classic thing to go with potatoes. It's delicious, I love it. We're gonna take this trash right here. We're gonna simply dump it into a little trash cup right there. Okay. Now we're going to chop our rosemary. You want to chop it up into little pieces. But that's going to go into our dipping sauce as well. You want to make sure it's really chopped up, okay? You don't want these big pieces of rosemary in your teeth or on your tongue as you're dipping your delicious potato into it. Our mayo. Last but not least, our thyme. Now our thyme we don't really have to chop up. We're just gonna start from the top of the stem and just pluck the stems off. I guess these don't want to cooperate, so we're gonna chop them up. They don't want to cooperate. We're gonna chop them up. Okay. Now with this, if you don't get them off in one pull like so, you can easily just take off each sprig by hand. You don't want the whole stem inside of your dipping sauce, okay? So right here is around, I have 3 full stems of thyme. Pluck that off, chop it up. This one as well. Okay, trash right there. We're gonna chop it up on the cutting board as well. We have a little piece of stem in there, but we're just gonna chop it up, give it a really good chop. Almost into a little fine dice. Then we're gonna add that to our dipping sauce as well. Okay, now we're gonna go over here and add a pinch of salt for taste. A pinch of black pepper as well for taste. Okay, throw these to the side. And now we're just gonna simply mix all of this together. Now you have the garlic, you have the thyme, you have the rosemary. You have all that inside this delicious mayonnaise, and it's gonna really bring out the flavor of those potatoes. Now once our potatoes are done, we're gonna dip those potatoes inside this beautiful sauce. Now that our dipping sauce is ready, we're gonna taste. Let's get a little taste here. It's missing something. Just a little bit more. I think some lemon juice would be perfect to add onto this. Let me go get some. Now I'm back and we're gonna add, let's say, maybe 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Now let's mix that in. Now let me see what it tastes like. Let's see. Way better. That lemon juice really brings out the flavor. All those herbs, taste the salt, the pepper, delicious. Now remember, when you're tasting food, you want to make sure you use different spoons. I've used a couple spoons just to taste this one sauce, so always stay healthy and clean. Now we have our roasted potatoes here. They've been in the oven for about 25 minutes at 450 degrees. As you can see, they're fully cooked. They have a nice brown color on both sides. Now, the next thing for us to do is taste them. Now that we are done with our roasted red potatoes and we have our creamy dipping sauce on the side, there's nothing left to do but to taste how delicious both of these items go together. So here I'm just gonna pick a potato, eeny, meeny, miny, moe, you. Oh, got it, let's see. Get some dipping sauce, wanna get that garlic, that rosemary, the habanero. That's really good. You can taste the garlic and the dipping sauce, the habaneros, thyme, rosemary. The potatoes, you can taste the olive oil that they were cooked in. Really good. Really, really good. I want to thank all of you for watching my recipe today. If you would like to see something that complements this dish, I have a great steak video that's up. It goes great with these roasted potatoes. Remember, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Even if you didn't like it, give me another thumbs up because it shows me a lot of love and support. Thank you guys so much. JB, out.